Today is November 19th, 2024. Today I went down to Carrollton with my boyfriend. We ate at this little diner. Okay? People came in and they said, the guy that did this is doing this to her. The people that watch her already know that he's a serial killer. And they're afraid what he's going to do next. And boy, if that Melissa does try to put her name on this, she will go to jail. Duh. Okay. We went and visited one of his friends. And then on the way back, we stopped and got dinner. Some guy came in and said they released the tape of those kids saying they were lying. None of this is funny. Thanksgiving of 18. Legally bought cows. Huh? These people hacked it and sold it the first month. By May 19, I went to Manhattan, Canton. They looked at me and said, "Hey, Karen, if you didn't hear John's kids right in the basement, Dave's girlfriend isn't Shell, it's Michelle." They heard them say they made everything up. People would talk about it everywhere. That's where I told you, October 5th, 21, I was in Huntington Bank on Cleveland Avenue. I'm in there with a client, and there are people that work the case and some of the riffraff. They said, we would never want Melissa to get a dime out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. We go to leave, and they were talking about Melissa's lies everywhere. Everywhere. He's like, who is that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying. I said she had the kids make up some mean games to pretend on Thanksgiving of 18. He said it's been years, and they're still talking about her lying. They screamed it on the street of Canton. Those kids made all that shit up. February's, take that back. January 12th, 22. Walgreens, North Main, 4:58 p.m. Officer John stopped goons at the door. When those kids got caught stating they made everything up. Right after they made everything up, the cops and the 2 federal agents that work in the Belden office, I thought they were police officers until I seen them in the building. They were talking a bunch of the police. Why they having those kids make all that shit up? Well, they're just trying to scare her out the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke very highly of her. My part of the case was over. They caught Melissa, and that's where the police came out. Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid, she didn't check where you were. And they went through different lies and stuff. So the first lie was she was in it with that drugger that worked for Dave that was drugging me up and say wrong neck out in Tushy lie. And Dave debunked it. Then a second lie, now I got witnesses on my phone, and and even Dave debunked it. Jen, even Daniel in the car, they didn't come upstairs from the table on the 4th of July. They were about an hour late, and we had already, I spent the food away, and they showed up. I had to warm it back up. They took 2 bites and ran to the basement and had pillow fights. It was a sectional, not sectional, I had a sectional couch down there. It was a family room, full family room. Had a full bathroom down there, full laundry room, TV, and the puppies were in there. It was a split level house. You go walking, go 8 steps up or 8 steps down. So once they took their 2 bites of food and ran to the basement, everybody went to go outside. So I grabbed some water and Jen and I walk outside with everybody else and sit on the front porch. And you could hear the kids laughing and playing in the basement. It was wonderful. You could just hear the giggling. And we're talking about our new retirement home, Gabe getting his license. It finally got, well, because it was a 4th, it got too warm. We went inside, went straight up, and we started getting dessert and just barely sat down. Dave came in. John left. I said he didn't say goodbye. He said he was in a hurry. He left through the basement. Okay. They made up a lie that they came upstairs. They were the ones being dirty looking through a cracked bathroom door. And you're supposed to be rude with yourself? That's disgusting. And so it never happened. And you got to think, who's being dirty when you're being a peeking Tom looking through a bathroom? Somebody's wiping their butt. You could be putting yeast infection cream on or anything else. Who's being dirty when you're being a peeking Tom? They are. And it never happened. Third lie, they'll make up something, call you a bad word. That's all they would tell me. Fourth lie, they said I vandalized their church. I wouldn't touch that place with a 10-foot pole. It has demons. You had to get the headboats out. This shit was flying everywhere. I used to spend half the day debunking their lies. I got tired of it. I don't care. So, yeah. In March of last year, those 2 guys came back in and yelled at all these people. We told these people to stay out of this. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never hurt anyone, and no one's ever seen anything. And it's just some lady thinks she could make money out of this. Another drug cartel. Now, I want you to think, where they said the people that watch me, they already know he's a serial killer. Do you realize how pathetic Agent John looks? A serial killer has his new victim that he's playing with, walks into an FBI office and confesses he's harming her and playing with her, and he didn't arrest him. How stupid is that, agent? Then, you know, you have neighbors, you see them, but you don't know them. See them walking in and out of their houses or apartments. There was a guy who lived about 4 or 5 houses down from John Thomas. And he showed up, what was it, 21 or 22? On McDonald's on Whipple. It's either Hills and Dales Road and Fulton Corner. He comes in ahead of me, and he's yelling out to a bunch of guys in there, I'm tired of this. Her ex-husband showed up in the store of Ravenna, screamed out he didn't want his wife anymore, and asked all those people to help get rid of her. And they all agreed to help. And it was the people in the store of Ravenna doing it to her before. Was Pete and his gang, where Dave had told people that he hired Pete on his own, and it was Pete and his men. These people tried to pull a scam of retired Judge Pete. Like a retired judge could harm people, and some psychotic retired judge is drug beating, raping people. What's horrible is in Florida, there was a retired judge selling people, human trafficking. He's in jail for 20 years. And that Judge Ludick and Judge Stephen was letting them get away with crimes in their area because they were friends. They were framing those 2 judges. These people said they had special permission. There's no such thing as special permission. It's called hard court orders. Went to the courthouse. Prosecutor's office didn't know anything about this. What's wrong with it? Portage County Sheriffs didn't know, and the Ravenna Police. See, they put Ludick and they put Judge Stephen under investigation for being in the human traffickers. See, even the cops that watched me when the case first started, they said there was a judge up there involved in the drug cartel. And they wanted his connections and for everybody to stay out of it. Found out it's just some guy saying he's a judge. He's a serial killer. Plain. It's a big pond where they said it's a bet between two gentlemen, the drug lords. Well, Pete's got a bet in there too. He bet everything he has. Because if you go back to the case in 18 and 19, for we all know about that one guy. He thinks it's funny killing people. He thinks it's funny trying to kill people. And the greatest hunt is hunting a human being. He watches. He waits. He's always watching for you to make a mistake. No matter what, make sure you do the right thing. Because the first time you make a mistake, he's got you. He thinks that everyone's corrupt and no one will do anything right in this. He bet everything. He banked everything on it. He bet everything. That no one will do the right thing. No matter how the road twists or turns, make sure you always do the right thing. Because he's always watching. And then when I moved out, he left messages for me. He thinks it's funny. She amuses him. She finds ways out of his traps. She'd rather starve to death than go back to Dave and let them kill her. Absolutely. He's a serial killer, playing with everyone. They even said that they were exposing corrupt law enforcement in this area publicly, and they set him up to be arrested. Even people this last year, wait till that agent finds out this was a setup for him to go to jail. Oh yeah. And then you gotta think, where they said that this whole thing is a pawn, it's a big scam. Now I want you to think about this. Everything's a setup. And that's where they told me, don't ever forget, everything that happens is a trap. Everything is a trap. See, outside Shine, where I got my hair done, women were talking. The police and everyone has all of her sons taped to funny her. They're waiting to see if these people pay him off to open their mouths against her, and then they'll arrest him. It's a trap. Just like it's a trap for Melissa. The police already told her they caught her kids lying. They wrote it off at first as mean games that pretend, and that she was showing off for Dave's new girlfriend, her and the kids. Later on, they even said, we already told her we caught those kids lying a long time ago. She could end up in jail, and those kids could end up in juvie. See, that's what they're doing. They're setting people up to go to jail. Then you gotta think, that Pete having all those drug cartels come here and announce their crimes in front of everybody like he owns the place. Well, let's see, about 1,500 or more drug dealers have went to jail because of this, and human traffickers. Eliminating the competition. He's setting everybody up. And then you got to think about this FBI agent, John. Why would Michelle want to date you? Well, she works with him for everything's a trap. See, I was talking to Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, and I was telling him about it because they were telling everybody he was a retired Judge Pete back then. He said, if your husband was dating um, any retired judge, sitting judge, or law enforcement up there, child or a family member or friend, they could never work a case against you your whole life. They would go to jail for a conflict of interest. And nobody could be in your home, not even the FBI, outside that protected life case with statements, and that agent had agreed to protect you and have statements of threat of life, or they go to jail. Nobody can be in your home before. Okay? That's what the criminal attorney said, prosecutor, and the police I talked to. I told them about the bruises, throwing up, almost passing out, and then saying they photoshopped a shower scene. And he's like, I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they say they did. It's illegal to look on listen. It's illegal to be in somebody's home. That's what the Portage County Sheriff said, and the Ravenna Police. And the Massillon Police had already told everybody nothing is admissible. It's the Fourth Amendment over the house. Like the prosecutor's office said, they did the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. It's a right to privacy. And nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel. Some serial killer, my ex-husband hired on his own, walked into an FBI office, told a federal agent he had a new victim he was playing with, that he'd been drugging her for fake confessions, having her beat and raped, photoshopped a washing in his own personal stocking tapes, and he didn't arrest him. That's how bad this is. Now, Agent John, why would Michelle, my ex-husband's prostitute girlfriend, want to date you? They like roofing people. They like to stab people in their sleep. Or date rape drugs. Huh? Why would she want to date you? These people even try to get Judge Timothy Ludick and Judge Stephen arrested. They went under investigation for being part of the drug cartel. They were looking at all law enforcement up there. They didn't know about it. It's that serial killer playing with everyone, for the only way to beat him is to do the right thing. He thinks everyone's corrupt. He bet everything. That's his bet. See, if the FBI gave me my money, the bet's over. He lost everything to someone. He's sitting back, twirling his thumbs and spinning his little webs of deception, causing chaos. March 1st to 15th, 2019, in a legally bugged house, and sitting on the back porch looking at that apartment building where they had shot it up right before Christmas of 18. Thinking you kill people over a stupid square box house. You kill people. I hate you. It's a lousy house. Phone rings, you could hear Dave talking to him. What's going on? It's a real life case of how to get away with murder. She'll realize it. Do you? The guy's a serial killer. He's playing people. Sitting back, spinning his webs of deception, causing chaos. I talked to Sheriff David, Mike DeWine's cousin, the governor's cousin. I was telling him about this. He's like, is your local police slow? Seriously, are they slow? He said, everything's digital. You take words out of sentences, other sentences tape over. You can put somebody else's head on somebody else's body. change your clothing, change the scenery. They could put a shower scene anywhere. You can put your head on somebody else's body. And we all know those date, rape, amnesia drugs, you're sleepwalking. And since everything's digital, and it's been digital for a long time, nothing's been trustworthy for a long time. And nobody can be in your home before. Are your local police slow? He said, and why didn't they arrest that agent for the telling on you, for taking your money and leaving you there? Sheriff Joe in Florida said the same thing. These people are pulling nothing but fucking shit with you. Nobody can do this. It's documented and verified by the police and the FBI. I was framed by the drug cartel. There was a drug cartel in my home before. So you put your name on it. You're part of selling and dispensing kiddie porn of little kids going potty, sex trafficking videos of people using the bathroom and showering, a sextortion scheme of photoshopping and washing, and then racketeering, drug confessions, having me drug beaten, raped, human trafficking, attempted extortion under it, several life sentences, and attempted murder. And yeah, these people kill people and they sell them. They're human traffickers. But when you realize Pete is just a drug dealer, people, even the police tell people it's a drug cartel. In uniform, they'll tell them it's a drug cartel. That's who's doing it. And that agent didn't arrest him? No, he made fun of me because the minister called me a faker 15 years ago and it was medication error. Medical malpractice. You know, which that just mind-blowing that one family I told you about where I had 6 to 10 surgeries, muscles locked up, went to crackpots, falsely diagnosed, swelled from my feet to my brain. I was having seizures. They're lying I have brain tumors. I put my heart, I have PAVR, pulmonary anonymous vein return. Only about 50% of the blood gets to the left part of my heart. Eventually I may need surgery. Okay? I was born this way. It's genetic. Like they said, it probably should have been fixed when I was a baby. But that's why I asked the doctors, is that way I went into heart attacks. So when they gave me the wrong medicine, they're like, probably. I had many heart attacks, was in cardiac wards. I had so much fluid on my legs, they were pulling every month or every other month turkey-based syringes of fluid because my body just kept swelling from the wrong meds. I almost died. Took another doctor to tell me another doctor to tell me that those doctors were crackpots. They were known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, getting kickbacks from drug companies, and making them so sick to do unnecessary procedures. They were known for this and determined the state, so they pull their license and get an attorney and sue them. In over 9 months, I got well. Well, I started in November of 2002. By April, I'm almost well. And then May 3rd, 2003 was that traffic accident. I had nothing to do with. Brian had to show up and tell us. We're all at home. I finished getting well in July, and Strange made up that lie in November of 2003 3 when he thought I was following Tim and Katie, and it was my sister Linda. Because that's her husband. Following him and his mistress around. And they thought it was me, and he made up a shitty lie just to get rid of me. Oh, you were faking through the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, right. I talked to a girl attorney. I said, you can't fake that shit. He's like, no, you can't. You gotta think of that family wanting to hurt me. Why? Him calling me a mean name had nothing to do with her father running a stop sign. And there is a good chance that Strange, where her dad was defying him publicly to everyone. Why didn't he stop at that stop sign? Had his grandkid in the car. Didn't even try to stop, according to Brian. People that were behind him were horrified he didn't even try to stop. Arrogant stop? Or did he do something to one of Phil's drinks or play with that vehicle he couldn't control it? Because he was openly defying him for 2 months. Even some of the investigators think Strange had that guy killed. Because I found out he ordered my death back then. That they were to try to kill me. If it didn't work, they were to have me destroyed. Nobody was to say or do a thing until Dave said he wanted a divorce. And that's why it took 15 years. Now, think about that. I had nothing to do with their kid's death. They had nothing to do with what happened to me over 4 or 5 years. So why would they care when I just go to their church that somebody said something mean about me? They shouldn't. Had nothing to do with them. Do you know I found out in Hartville a few months ago? They were telling people I killed their kid. And where people found out that it was a traffic accident and her father didn't stop at a stop sign, I wasn't even there. Or they told everybody to leave me alone. They're lying that bad. What is wrong with them? Seriously, have they become so mentally delusional? And like they said, they just wanted someone to hurt over this. Blaming somebody who has nothing to do with their kid's death, and somebody just making up a mean lie to cover up their son's adultery. They shouldn't even fucking care. Like my one neighbor, I was telling her about it. I said it'd be like when her husband died. 6 months later, they said Amy in the wheelchair across the street. She's faking. Would you care? She said, why? She had nothing to do with Harry's death. I said, would you secretly hate her for 15 years and then plan her death and have her drugged, beaten, raped by other men? She's like, Karen, that's insanity. She had nothing to do with Harry's death. This whole thing is insanity. Even some of the drug cartel got mad a couple of weeks ago. I was up in Akron. We all found out the only thing that was wrong with her before was her muscles all locked up from all those surgeries. And she's got something wrong with her heart. And they need to tell that family to stop saying stuff to people. It was a medication error that made her sick. Why do you think she swelled up so bad? Duh. And they were pissed. Because it gets old really quick. And it's been 6 fucking years of being harassed. Which, on today's news in Stark County, the sheriffs and marshals, this one guy was wanted for domestic violence and was having his wife stalked. Went to arrest him and they ended up having a shootout. The guy's dead. Dave tried to have me killed. He got to flee the country. He was caught with the human traffickers and he hired a serial killer to drug, beat, and rape me and drug me up and tell me to say something stupid and photoshopped washing in his own personal serial killing tapes that he was playing with me. And you guys didn't arrest him. I'd like to know why. No, but I'll tell you what, whoever that guy was in Maslin, they talked about him even on January 25th, 2019. That one guy in Maslin, what is his problem? Helping them get away with crimes. Nobody can do this. Why is he involving himself in crimes? I was talking to Josh, and where I dated that one retired Maslin officer. He said, a Maslin officer. He said they told Dad that no one could say a word to you ever again. Hmm? And that one guy in Maslin that was helping him, he's no longer there. Who the hell took a payoff from the drug cartel? Because it was a drug cartel doing it the whole time. See, the drug cartel was so brazen in 18 and 19, and Maslin and Wendy's, they were taking people to Florida to run experiments on them. They were human trafficking. Hmm? They were breaking in Wendy's. They were so arrogant. Hmm? They didn't think they were stoppable. Like they told Edith Oakland apartment on December 9, 21, 4 p.m. All the tapes before were them and not her. And it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here to see if someone will actually stop them. Hmm? That's what the guy at the Hunger Task Force told the investigators too. Because Ed was talking to his worker, and right before Christmas of 21, because December 9, 21, I went in there and one of my security guards were in there. Walks out from where they're dispensing food. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so I never said a word. By Christmas of 21, his co-worker came up to the car, and I'm shaking my car. These people have tortured me. Bashed my skull in. I have a dent. They human trafficked me. They drugged me till I lost 70 pounds. I lived through a concentration camp. They'd drive by and scream stuff, and I'd shake in my car. He said, no, I found out what's going on. She's scared to death of those people. He said, I already told all of them that they said that all the tapes before were them and not her. And it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. He said the guy at the Hunger Task Force told them the same thing. That's where Officer Mark in August of 23 told a lady in Cole's parking lot, loud enough you could hear across the parking lot, said, did her ex-husband defend her? Yes, we taped him. Did anybody ever talk to her? No. Then they had to have framed her. He said it's been documented and verified she was framed before, and it was a drug cartel in her home. We've seen him. He said it's also been documented and verified it was a medication error that made her sick before, and even another woman was using her insurance. It's all been verified. She's like, none of this is funny. He said, I know it's not. Well, when Josh said when Dave found out that guy in Maslin wasn't there anymore, he freaked out and fled the country the next day. Never to return. So who the hell took a payoff from the drug cartel? Because there was a drug cartel in my home before. Running a big drug scam. They're no longer there. They're either in jail or dead. Because like they said, if you're stupid enough to put your name on this, you will go to jail for it. You can't harm anybody. You can't exploit them. Like, even the investigators have told them, it's racketeering what they did. Oh, and a lot more crimes. See, even Lighthouse Tabernacle, June 7th, 23, Days Church. FBI agent John fell for the stunt at age 34. Oh, come on now. That FBI agent fell for it. It was only a stunt. You're kidding. Is that what's going on? FBI agent John fell for the stun of tapes before. Just like Eric, one of the drug dealers with him, all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all these people to turn on and they fell for it. If it was only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad and I still fell for it. They say he goes to, that was November 18th, 22. Sheriff's have his confession. And where they admitted a million times, or way over 10, in front of everybody and the cops that they had drugged me and told me to say it before. And they photoshopped effeminate wifeys above the toilet in other rooms to make you look weird and showering in another room to make you look weird. That they photoshopped all their lives and made everything up on me. March 20th, 24, Walmart 62 by the ladies' underwear aisle. They were laughing. They made up retired Judge P. They made up everything on her to get away with this. And they were laughing at everybody again. They're good at that. June 26th, 27th to July 4th of 23, they were talking in Masker's Park that they had went to a party, and with the life of the party, how they made fools out of everyone for falling for this stunt I tasted for. It's a drug scam. You have a right to privacy in your home. Nobody can drug you. There is a torture and terrorism act. You're not allowed to drug somebody. You're not allowed to trip them. You're not allowed to beat and rape them. You're not allowed to torture them. U.S. citizens. You go to jail for 20 years for doing it. So why would they be allowed? Exactly. Now I want you to realize everyone, a serial killer, but they said that they're using this as a pawn, a scam. He's scamming everybody, sitting back twiddling his thumbs, playing every one of you to get set up to go to jail. Every one of you, including that agent over my case. His men already bragged that they were, how they put it, exposing corrupt law enforcement in this area publicly, and they set him up to be arrested. The whole thing was a setup for Agent John. It was a setup for anybody who participates. See, that's where all those drug dealers showed up, where he said he called them and he ordered them to come here. He paid for them to show up. Well, they went to jail. And it makes you wonder if he wasn't getting rid of the competition. For everything's a trap. And if you don't do the right thing, he's got you. For everything is a trap. When you start looking at everything going on and everything's a trap, and he's waiting for you to do something wrong, and then he's got you. Everything's a trap. The only way to beat him is to do the right thing. And he bet everything that no one would do the right thing. Everybody report this. Because I'll tell you what, it's how to get them stopped. The cartel thinks they can pay off anybody. They can't. And that serial killer wants everybody to think he can do this to everybody in this area. And he can take over it. Start realizing what he's doing. Nobody can do this. April 28th, 24, an officer in uniform on Walmart on the strip walked up and said, "Karen, I've been listening to this today. We all know nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel. There was a drug cartel in your home before. We all know that guy told on you before where Agent John went around acting like a crazy call person. Telling everybody I called the FBI hotline for her to talk to me. All the cops now. Can't investigators. in October of 23 were in Menchie's in the evening on a Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday. Said it's so good to see Karen happy again. We all listened to how that guy talked to her. She didn't know anything what these people were doing. At least now we don't have to worry about Karen going back to Dave again. That other girl married him. It's her own fault. She knows what he's like. Karen didn't know what he was doing. See what I mean? That's where all the police know he told on me. And everybody else with the lock-in. And in the middle of summer, probably 2020, I was doing my laundry at the laundromat. This girl was looking at her phone and said, I got the case. Real loud. Now this is funny. And the first of it says she was found innocent of everything. None of this is funny. For my whole family defending me. Now these kids got caught saying they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa, and that they made everything up and they were mean games to pretend. And all my family physicians told the police and the FBI it was the medication errors and medical malpractice and fraud that almost killed me. And it's documented and proven when I got off the medication I got well. By Thanksgiving of 18. My part of the case is over. By Thanksgiving of 18. Like they said, these people are pulling nothing but fucking shit. Now I want you, the guy that's doing it, the one Dave hired, he's a serial killer. He's playing everybody. When you realize everything is him spinning traps for everybody that participates in this. He's after all of you. And he wants you to think he can do this to you. And he can take over this area. Turn him in. For the only way to beat him is to do the right thing. He thinks everyone's corrupt. And he banked everything that no one would do the right thing. He bet everything. That was his bet.